It says, oh, got it. Zoom recording in progress. So what was I saying? Like, if everyone has a podcast,
Everybody finds
you
an
know,
audience.
yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
not everybody
Oh,
is.
well, like you build your audience for whatever you're trying to portray or sell or communicate.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I keep getting a thought and then it leaves my head. I smoke marijuana, Dave, every now and then.
You do?
I hope you're aware of that.
Uh, that's a
Yeah.
gateway drug, right? That's a slippery slope. Slippery
So
slope.
so I believe gateways open both ways, right? And I believe Nancy Reagan when she said my brain is a egg in a frying pan, right? And I didn't understand what narcotics or whatever. Anyway,
Wait,
all
hold on a
I'm
sec. Hold on a
saying
second.
is
Hold
if
on a second. Let's pump the brakes. Like, if there's kids listening, like anybody under 38 years old, like Nancy Reagan, that's a really old reference, dude. That's 1980s American politics, right? First
yeah,
lady.
well,
What'd she say?
yeah,
Don't do drugs. Just say no. Just say no. Right? Just say no.
just say no, and it worked,
This
right?
is your
For
brain. This
me,
is your brain on drugs.
yeah,
Any
yeah,
questions?
yeah. So instead, you just drink as a young man, right?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was literally me. I was like, well, I can't do
No,
drugs, so I
no,
guess I'll just smash myself with
yeah.
Molson Canadians.
Well, mom and dad and grandpa and grandma all do it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, man, like I almost consider myself a bit of a shaman in a certain aspect in that I've done a lot of things to try to get here, to try and feel something. And I'm just saying, if I had known about the benefits of cannabis, uh, I think things might have gone a little differently because
Mm.
I believe it provides me a certain amount of just perspective change, and it really helped level me out when I was trying to like detox from all the silliness that I got up to there in the last for a while there.
So would you say then that what what are you talking about, Jody? Well, we'll get to that. But so would you say that booze was like was that your gateway drug? But
Well, I don't know. Like,
I think gateway implies that it leads you to other drugs. But would you say that booze was
yeah,
more
it does,
harmful?
but
Was it more harmful than is that what you're saying? Like if you had found weed, it would have been you would have done less harm.
uh, I just probably wouldn't have like been so taken with the like coke and stuff.
Okay. If you had done
I,
weed first.
or just like in parallel.
Mm.
Like I probably would have just I would have gone that direction anyway if I had known about it. Like it was my dealer that started giving me weed gummies and stuff. He was like, you might
Try this
like this
shit.
more.
Try this shit.
Yeah.
So are
I
you
do. Anyway, I make fun and but in all seriousness, like, man, we haven't even done the introduction to your show yet.
no, I know. We're just rolling. We're just it's like I don't know if this is A roll or B roll, but it's roll.
You might
Um
have to do an intro like after we're
I
done.
always, yeah, of course I'll do an intro. I always do a nice little intro. Make sure it's nice and comprehensive. But
Yeah.
welcome to the show, Jody. Like you're officially on the show now. After I think this is 2 years in the making, 1 year, maybe a year and a half in the making. And let's get this out of the way, dude. You're like I have a few inspirations for getting started on the podcast on podcasting. You're one of them. And it's because I can't find the reference anymore because I listened to a bunch of your shit, like because you're in the space for a while and you were on a ton of different shows. I can't remember if it was on Jocko's or your own podcast where you're talking about why you wrote your book and why you do the podcast. And I'm paraphrasing, but it was Canadians don't know anything about us, like troops, just really kind of in the dark. And you just wanted to kind of shed a light on that. And I was like, yeah, it's true. Like even my own relatives have no idea, just no connection.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he's absolutely right. And Then I started, you were on Jocko, and that was a while ago. Like, I think you've been on what, 3 times? You were on a really early
Yeah.
episode, weren't you? Like
Yeah.
20s,
I
like
was
when
one
you
of
just
his
got started.
first, I think I was his first live guest.
Wow. Yeah, that's wild because
I think so.
I had only just started listening to podcasts. So I was like, oh, who's this guy? And the only reason why I listened to Jocko is because I knew who you were.
Nice.
And
Right on, man.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, who is this? And like now it's like, oh, who's this Jocko guy? But everybody starts somewhere. And so I started listening to Jocko. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I really identify with his message too. So you were like the gateway drug for me getting into podcasting.
There
So
you go.
thank you for that. Everything comes full
And that,
circle.
and
So
that's right. Everything leads somewhere, right? You
mhm,
know?
yeah,
So,
precisely.
yeah, man, like I believe, like I knew as soon as I got hurt, and I was just like, if people are asking questions, who's going to answer them? You know, and I'd already been smashed, so what else have I got to lose, right?
Mm, mm,
So,
mm.
and I firmly believe that the crown, allows a certain amount of room to speak for yourself, and if it wasn't me, then it would be someone else, and I wanted more someone's to come forward, like it's part of it is, yeah, like, we just need to make sure that they know our story. So we have justification for some of the demands that we make on our government, which is ultimately funded by the taxpayer and the people. Um,
That's a very high level view of things. You're a very cerebral dude. It's funny. Like, I
uh,
mean, like we're in chat groups and stuff like that, but uh, being able to talk on podcasts and like
yeah,
you've got a lot of content, right? So you can get to know somebody from different perspectives just by
right.
their content. And like, I'm sure there's people listening to me. I don't know who's listening to me. Like, other than people that say, "Hey, great podcast." I'm like, it's a weird space to be in because you don't have an audience in front of you. So you don't know who's like,
Yeah.
maybe some guys listen to every freaking episode and is like knows me better than myself. I don't know. But like I've heard you on different podcasts and you've got a lot of candor and you're super honest. And that's what's really good about your message is that like you're talking about your drug use, you're talking about your injury, you're not sugarcoating it, man. Like it's the real
Yeah.
deal. And I imagine I imagine there's, especially in our community too. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing or just a military thing, but as soon as you start talking, and I think it's just because we've never done it, we've never had like a guy like yourself talking about things honestly about the forces and like your time, stuff like that. People get kind of fucking pissy, right? And I don't know how much experience you've had with it, but you probably see it. Like I see it, right? It's like, oh, what the fuck is this guy talking
Well,
about?
hang on. What do you pissy towards me or pissy towards the topic?
A little bit of both. I'm
or
I'm, I'm
or
referring
not
to. I'm just referring to.
necessarily me, but
I'm referring to comments that I've seen on
that's what
like
I
your
mean. Not
podcast.
not necessarily like comments, like I don't read comments. Not
Right,
really.
right.
I started to, and then I kind of went crazy. um so so here's the thing, like, uh I preface, or I try to preface everything I say with, this is just my experience, by the way.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, there was, I'm one of three guys that finished my sniper course, but that was just my sniper course, right? Like, and I know guys that, they had 20 guys finish and stuff, and it's like, it doesn't matter, the end result is all still the same. But like, um and I tried to tell my story in a way that was professional enough that, I didn't feel like I said anything that wasn't true, right? Dave, like you said. So I understand, though, like there's other perspectives, right? And I'm perfectly fine with that. And everyone has an opportunity to comment. And so, if someone chooses to comment, if it's negative, it doesn't mean it's wrong, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's gonna, and that's the thing, like, for every 100, for every one you see in person, they'll be like, "Good job. Hey, I heard your podcast. Like, this is," and you're like, "Okay, okay." And then like one person will say something like, "Yeah, you're like, you're an idiot or whatever," or like,
Yeah.
"You don't know what you're talking about." And you go whole like, and part of you just wants to attack and say, "But that's one guy out of like look at all the other comments you got that were
That's it.
just great, and you just go, okay, yeah, yeah, because you're moving on, but then this one person doesn't, support you for whatever reason, or doesn't see your point of view, or doesn't agree with something you said, and well, that doesn't make them wrong, right? They're just the 1 in 100 that's going to be the asshole. And you know what? You still need the asshole perspective. And that's the thing. I know part of it. I know I can be a bit of a prick, and I know, back in the day, I was quite, could be, I was a who I was. I am who I am,
Mm.
and but honestly though, like I just wanted the Canadian soldier's story to get told, because even the veteran story now, they're used to us being harmless old men as veterans, so to speak, the royal us. And and now that we are, coming into our own, like we're coming into our own age, we're all of still of working age, and we're all retired, and then when we want to take a position of leadership, or we want to have our point of views taken seriously, or our agendas become priorities, we get laughed at, and we get told, like, wait your turn and this and that, and I believe, well, no, we have to advance our own cause, or nobody else will,
Yeah.
and it's to me, it's and to me, frankly, it's all part of the oath to the crown, because like we understand best interests. We've seen the results of failed policy all over the world, and that's the last thing we as veterans want to see. And if they don't want to hear it, well, that's fine too. And sorry, I might have wandered around on you there, but
That's the point.
yeah,
Point.
yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to remember a quote. Fuck, I'm terrible at these. Okay. The gist of it is, you don't want your governments run by just politicians. You want to make sure that the government is run by, like, has the input from your warriors, or something to that effect, because if not, you'll be run by fools, essentially. Because like when you commit to war, it's the most serious thing, literally the most serious thing a government can do is commit the country to war, because it's the will, like Jocko says, you have to have the will to fight, but you have to also have the will to die and kill. Like,
So the
I don't
the
think we
problem
freaking
we
have
have
that.
is
I don't
we
think we have
have,
that.
and it's worldwide, bro. It's worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
They inherited a world from our grandparents, right? These same people, right? They inherited this world, and they're paper tigers, and they don't. And that's the thing. They pick fights they don't have to get in,
Like the
right?
politicians, you mean?
And so, sorry, yeah, yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like that's who's running things around the world, and if you look at closely, like many of them are actors, literally.
Yeah, it's fucked up, eh?
They're all academics.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's an agenda, but oh, this is what happens. I get a call.
Are you
Did
getting a
we
call from the prime minister right now?
did, yeah, that was C sister. Like, what's up?
Is JT?
Um, did that wreck the recording? Are we still good?
Yeah, we're still cool. Yeah, we're still good.
Yeah. So so anyway, I'm just saying, you're absolutely right that um there's a lot of people in charge that have been punched in the face. And even though Trudeau has been in a boxing match, like he's never faced anything beyond, a boxing match, right?
Yeah.
And
Controlled
and when
environment. Don't no, let's not forget too, right?
so yeah, so when you have these people that have, grown up in systems that, encourage everybody to win, and like, it's never mind that they were coddled individually, like the whole cohort is coddled. And they just go, what do you mean it can't work? Right? Like, this green agenda has taken over so much stuff, and it's, a lot of it is, it's reduced crop yields, it's lowered power availability in areas, like it doesn't seem to be like a thought out process, right? So that, because to them, it's about showing success where there's failure, right? So if you only build one solar plant out of 9 in Hawaii, yeah, well, don't worry about the other 8. Just celebrate the fact that the one got built while you were around to say you helped do it, and then
Mm.
they move on to the next gig,
Yeah. So yeah,
And what they
rather
leave
than
behind is, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, like, the it's not the actual, like, pragmatic numbers, facts, that of, like, how much, what was your performance indicator? It was to get 9 done, but you only got 1 done. That's not a win. But it's to have something to show on social media, on the news, that seems like a win. Just like, oh, it's one thing that's built, but ultimately the plan failed. And that's how I see everything now. It's like, no, like these are
Yeah.
abject failures. So I'm assuming your point is like we need the individuals like ourselves that have grown up in a system that like honesty and having candor is like lives depend
Yeah.
on you being like, sir, I think that plan's kind of fucked up. Can I just explain why? And then go, yeah, sure. What is it? And you go
Yeah.
bang, bang,
Well,
bang, bang, bang. Like we grew up with that. We, like as soon as we went overseas, it was like, it was very obvious. Like you got to listen to everybody
yeah.
on the team, right? And it doesn't matter what your rank is. It's like, man, yeah, that's a really good point. Like we did those before we went out too. And I was with the Americans, like from private to freaking captain. It was like, oh, wait, no, we're not going over that way because fuck, we got blown up like 3 weeks ago over there. Like, why would we go
Right.
that way? You know, it was like, oh, yeah, it's true. Thanks, private. So, I mean,
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
at the political
Well,
level, like,
there's that, Dave, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying at the
At the
political
political,
level,
yeah,
like I think you're bang on, right? Like, it's this whole idea that for whatever reason, support the troops is really easy to say when there's a war going on and there's bodies coming home and shit like that. But then when the war's done, and it's like, well, yeah, we still got something to say, man. Like, hey, we're still here. Like, we've done all the stuff that you asked us to do. And then you get the kind of like patronizing, like, oh, they're there. Like, you're kind of like a broken soldier. So I don't know if your opinion is really that important. That's the vibe that I get. And I don't know if that's the same vibe you get as well, but that's the vibe that I
no,
get since I came back.
that that is exactly it. They're quite okay. So we keep saying they, so we're gonna get labeled
Yeah,
conspiracy
who's
theorists.
the they that you're referring to?
So it's not a Canadian problem either. Again, it's a veteran problem on all sides of the war ever because because warriors come back and they've seen it all and they have the belief that they've earned the right to have a say, through their physical survival of the risk of the war,
Right,
etc.
right, right.
Um, you know, uh, and so the natural reaction of the ruling class is to suppress that. Yeah, but never the tactical stuff is one thing, but what I guess for me, what always struck me is when I say we saw the result of failed policy is you see little kids living in mud. That's like that's what I worry about the most. With all the failures and the ability to provide crops and power and this and I just like I just I don't believe that the people in charge currently have the perspective that allows them to see that that could be a result of their decisions.
So are you talking about like living in mud like in Afghanistan, or are you talking about like here?
Here, here could become like there in a minute. That's what I'm saying because everything works until it doesn't. That's all. That's my. You could be in an awesome car going around the track and you're killing it and you're 2 laps ahead. You blow one ring and you're done. That's it. Race over. Right. The same for a system of governance. Like Rome. Rome ran until it didn't, and then what?
Hmm.
And we're facing the very real possibility that you know that a similar result could come in the Western culture if it's fractured by the over ambition and lack of accountability. Back to the truth thing. That's the thing. Like I keep seeing people getting caught lying or bending the truth, and it's all just shrugged off, like, oh, whatever. And to me, it's a danger to the what our system is built on. I don't know. That's just the way I see it. And
Hmm.
maybe I went a little too deep there, but it's
We're going into the weeds. Okay, so
yeah,
if somebody's listening, they're like, man, okay, I don't really know who you are. Let me just give like I'll give a brief synopsis. Jody, you were a obviously a Canadian Armed Forces sniper. You got injured in Afghanistan, stepped on an IED, changed your life forever. Came back. Obviously, it was a long road to recovery, and you subsequently become a politician in Ottawa. You're a
yeah,
councilman, I believe. Is a counselor,
yes, sir.
city councilor, and wrote a book, bestseller, I believe, too, and podcaster too. That, like I said
Yeah,
earlier, inspired me to get into the game. And I'll reiterate it again, like the having an individual like yourself be kind of like you're not the I don't think you're not the first guy, but you've got the charisma. You're oh yeah, and you're on Amazing Race too. That's where I first saw you actually, and you won that. That was freaking
Yeah,
cool.
that's
I was
right.
like, oh shit. I was like,
Second
oh, you came in
place.
second. Okay. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
buddy.
shit, like that's freaking cool. Like there was this ascension, right? Like this this trending upward, which is really cool because we typically don't have that here in Canada, especially within our troops. So
Right.
we're very humble. It's kind of ingrained in us. I'm not saying you're not humble. It's just that you had the charisma to do this stuff and you had the drive to do this extra stuff and get the message out there, which has definitely inspired me. And there's like a little cohort of us that are podcasting and doing extra stuff now, which I think is cool because the Americans, like, they've got this. Like this is their jam. I was
What
just
do you
talking.
mean?
Well, they don't hide behind the whole like, well, humbleness side of things. Like they're humble,
No.
but they will talk about the shit that they've done. Like they stick to their principles. Like they have an entrepreneurship that like runs through them deeply. So they will start the companies. They will
It's
get
their
out there and write the
culture.
books. It's their
Their
cult.
whole
Yeah.
country is based on free will and free choice to make your own path in life,
And
you know.
I love that about
And
them.
it's not until you hang out with them and actually work with them and then spend time with them in their own in their own towns and you see the difference, like eh, it's different. It's just different. And
Yeah.
it's not is it it's better than that. There's more celebration of the individual and they do celebrate each other's accomplishments as much as we watch them tear each other to shred in the press. Um, and like they support each other. Like that's how these guys get rich, selling mixtapes out of the back of their trunks because you can make enough money to get rich doing that down there.
Yeah.
Here, you might be able to buy some secondhand clothes for your kids, doing that. But I just find they're like, I just find them very enthusiastic, and I've always appreciated that about America.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. I mean, reaching out, especially in the veteran community, it's almost like well, it is a brotherhood, but right away, like, hey, right on, brother. Like, you want me to come on the podcast? Like, I just
Yeah,
I had a great guest on this week, Tom Satterley and his wife Jen. They have a large foundation. Like, this is a Delta Force Sergeant Major. Like he doesn't have to talk to me, but he's like, yeah, right on, brother. He's like, you doing
yeah,
good work? I'm like, I have a very small audience. I don't have, he doesn't matter, man. He's like, I'll help anybody that needs help, and that kind of attitude is amazing. And
yeah.
I don't feel like, other than the small like network that we have, I don't feel it's really taken off here. But then again, Canada, like, what we have, like 600,000 veterans, they have millions. The,
Yeah.
the economies of
Well,
scale are
there's
so
that,
different.
and yeah, I feel like there's a disconnect between like my generation and below, and the because I came in right on the tail end of FRP, so I think I was in like a
What's
sweet spot right in
what's
between.
FRP?
So FRP was force reduction plan,
Oh,
and
yeah, okay.
it was started under Trudeau Senior, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah, 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 yeah.
Mulrooney actually I think might have implemented, and then Chrétien finished it. So basically, they went from let's say 150 or 200 down to like 90 or something.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Hmm.
so I managed to squeak in there. What were we talking about? FRP. Oh,
Well,
so there was just this big chunk of knowledge and experience in this, and guys just were just gone. And then I think, I just don't think there was a lot of I'll be honest, I didn't feel a lot of mentorship from the group, the guys that I got introduced to, but I don't know how well mentored they were either, you know? And so, once they retired and stuff, like you didn't see the guys come back or you didn't hear from them, right? Not like today, like maybe it's just because there's better access. Like we can do this. Whereas back then, if you came by battalion and, in your civvies, like guys would be like, who's that guy? Like, um, like who the fuck is this guy coming in our building? And, I'll be honest, I was just back at 1RCR last month, working with the snipers and stuff. I was a little intimidated walking into Y101. I'll be
Really?
honest,
Yeah.
the troops are giving me the eyeball. Like, who the fuck is this clown
Who's
walking around
this
there
fucking guy?
in our lines? Fucking
And these
guy
guys are
just walks into snipers.
these guys are 20,
And
man.
I can,
Like, they probably weren't
oh,
even
they're
alive when
animals.
9/11 happened, man. Like, they're like Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I know, but I look at them and I'm like, because I know what I felt like when I was a private, and I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I just I want, like, when you tell me that this is because of what I did, well, that makes me feel good, and I feel like that is what, like, you're almost like your seeds that I planted 10 years ago. I believe Never Quit Radio started in 2010.
Mm,
And the idea was to just encourage, because I was always encouraged by those that were willing to show me what it's like they're willing to go and say, well, this is how I do it, and then you can try it, and whatever it is, whether it's finger painting or a section attack. Um and so and how else do you learn, and how else do you get an idea, or how else do you realize your potential if someone doesn't point out what they did 10 prior, right? Like, it's if we can all do it, and it's just a matter of choosing to be a voice, and to represent, and to realize that your actions do ripple. And I used to tell this to people, like, hey, you never know who's watching. And you just reminded me, like, yeah, like, one of the biggest regrets I had when I did go off the rails was that I realized, like, so many people, get inspired by my story, and I couldn't help but feel like I had failed. But at the same time, what I will say to anyone going through anything, and this is a big deal to me, is just, the one thing you got to do is you can't hold yourself down by feeling like that, like what you've done is irreversible, right? Like, nothing you've done is gonna destroy the rest of your life, except deciding not to live it, right?
mm.
So, um, man, I just went off on a tangent there, didn't
No, no, no,
I?
it was good actually because I was just
Sorry,
gonna
a
bring.
lady walked by and kind of broke my
Okay.
concentration. But
Oh, because
I guess what my my
because you're at
message
the
is
beach,
like,
right?
oh yeah, I'm at the beach.
Um,
Anyway, what?
well, I was going to say, based on based on your experience, obviously, you're talking about, when you fell off the rails there, and when
Oh yeah,
I heard about it, I think that was that your last episode that you did with Jocko, and you talked about, like how you fell off the rails, and it was super honest, right? It was just like right to the point, like,
yeah,
yeah, man, got back into the drugs, like, party Jody came back out. And but the thing is, like, to hear that was, you were talking about inspiration like that. I was like, man, yeah, this guy's a real human being, and he's not only talking about the good shit that's happening, like, oh, I got a book, I got a podcast, I'm
yeah,
like, no, I fell off the freaking rails. And you very rarely hear people talk about the bad shit that's happened to them, but those that do are typically the ones that really connect with their audiences and whoever they're trying to influence, because it's like, oh yeah, he's a human
right,
being like me. Like, I'm going through maybe something similar, or like, yeah, I felt like shit too, and not allowing it to create that downward spiral of shit where it's like, yeah, I fucked up, but is it going to ruin me?
yeah.
It's like having that positive
That
mental model, right? That, like, yeah, I'm a human being, I fucked up, and I'm just going to allow it to show people that I can overcome and get back to another state. Like, this is just a learning experience. And
yeah.
I want to touch. I want to
Well,
use
it's
that to touch base just on,
yeah,
like you got messed up overseas, man. Like, you lost your fucking legs. Like, that's a big
yeah, yeah.
deal. Like, I don't know.
It was a bad day at work.
It's a bad day of work, exactly, and you describe it in your book. And I don't know anybody in my circle that had the same serious injury and survived it from the war. And you were able to turn it into something extremely positive. Like, how did you, was it, so let me ask you this. Like, do you think that your mindset before you got injured was the critical component for you to be able to carry on and be a positive influence? Or do you think it was the injury itself that, like, switched your mindset to be like, well, I can either sit here and feel sorry for myself, or I can go on and do a bunch of good?
I believe it's both. So like, for example, in my book, I went out and stupidly got arrested with a guy who had narcotics on him, right? And I knew
Mm-hmm.
he had them, so, like, they were like, "Oh, guilty by association." And So, and
This
that
is a
was
guy
when I was
battalion. This is a
20.
guy battalion, right? Like there's this.
We were in battle school together.
Yeah, right.
We were in
You're just
battle school
troops.
together.
You're young troops.
And yeah, I just, anyway, so bad decisions. And I'll be honest, so it was a real kick in the dick to get sent back to battle school after doing my reserves, being a reservist. I was a corporal, and then I get the battalion. I hadn't trained for a while, so anyways, and this whole like direct transfer, like not on my watch type stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
so when they said I had to go back to battle school for basically the third time. Um, like it was just like so demoralizing, and I was just like, Jesus, man, like, because when you add up how I got there, to me, it was like, it was a little unfair and this and like, but this is the hand that you're dealt. So I had a choice, and in the book, I said, I could show up, be a bag of shit, try and get kicked off, and just be upset with my lot in life, or polish the boots, iron the shirts, get in shape, do your drills, fucking fit in. Like, you want to be in the club, you got to go through initiation. And this is part of the initiation to get into the regiment. I didn't realize how important, it would be, like what regiment I was in. I was in RCR, and, one RCR, and this and that. But, you know, so anyway, I was stuck in this like moment of like, what do I do? And, this is one of the things that I think about, and what inspires me to do some of the stuff I do is because this guy, Uncle Billy, Uncle Bobby, shit, I always forget, and I apologize, but he was the RSM when I got there, and he ended up passing from cancer, but he's legend. He's legend. He's on the wall in the parade, the indoor parade square at 1RCR. He's got a tomahawk and a look that scares you, even if you're twice his size. But and he says, "Hey man, come here for a second." And I'm like, "Oh great," and he sits me down, and he looks me in the eye, and he's totally relaxed, and he just says, "Listen, I believe that you have a future in this organization. I know you fucked up big time, and I know you got a bit of an attitude in this, but he's like, but you got the right spirit." He's like, I believe you could do good at this job. And but what the fuck do I know what I'm talking about? Type of thing. It just,
Hmm.
and like I said, he's half my size, and I thought he hated me because of the type of fuck up I had done and stuff. And then everybody, even the guy who hated me and wanted me to and sent me back to battle school the second time, even he loved this guy. And when he heard that I wasn't leaving, he said, "Oh, why are you staying?" And I said, "Well, the RSM thinks I should," and that shut him up.
Yeah.
And I didn't put all this in the book, but my point is that guy showed a private, no hook, 20-year-old dumb dumb. He said, like, stick with it,
Hmm.
and so I think that was my decision when I got to battle school. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I earned people's trust back and stuff like that. And I showed even myself that I could do the job. And, um, you know, with, with combat, especially once you get into it and you realize what it truly is, as a volunteer, especially, I tried to just take the job as come as it is, and to try to accept what happened. And so, as weird as it might sound, but I've heard other combat guys tell me the same thing quite often. In my mind, getting wounded is unfortunately part of the job, and so you can't choose your wound. Of course, it would have been awesome to just get a couple pieces of shrapnel in the ribs or something, and be able to show it off at the beach, or whatever. Um, as weird as as we are to think that way, but
Well, you're definitely able to show it
um,
off at the beach now.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's just it, right? Like you can't miss it. But it's to me, man, it's just I you can't feel sorry for yourself on this stuff. For me, anyway, I can't. Like I do, Dave. Like I have awful days. Like I've had awful years now, as we were just talking about. And I refuse to believe that I can't make a positive outcome out of this, right? And because this happened to me, but like the job I was doing was, it's war.
Mhm.
We were in combat. I was doing to other people what was done to me, because that's the job at that. You're just bags of meat. at that point, and oh, you made it back alive. Congrats. Like you're just missing a few parts.
Little lighter.
No, I just say, I've said to people like, imagine if you were a 18-year-old Russian conscript and you stepped on a mine like that. Like fuck, like man, like at least we are allowed to volunteer to go and represent our country and our values and get our, and get the man on and get the warrior on and stuff. Like
Hmm.
so, a lot of people are told and have no desire to be
Yeah,
there.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine what it's like for those like, like it's war just sucks. Period. And
Yeah.
the war over in the Ukraine has really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I stay detached from it a lot because like I mean, fuck, I think all of us have Russian friends, like, and it's easy to shit on the Russians and like fuck
Yeah.
cancel them whatever, but like let's be honest, man, like most of those guys that are fighting over there are all conscripts, man. They're like 18-year-old kids. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. It's the politicians that are the assholes. I got nothing against the Russian people. Like, they're people. Like I had nothing against the Afghans either. Like, or like they're doing their thing. They think they're right. They think they're doing what they need to do. I'm like, all right, like you just said, it's a very kind of like stoic way to look at things. Like, this is our job. This is what we got to do. I didn't make these rules, but I volunteered to come over here. And some people don't get that opportunity. Some people are just like, hey, take this weapon and go over there and go shoot somebody. And you're like, oh, okay. And then they get blown up in the process like that. I don't know. I'm glad we're not in that world anymore, man. That's all I can say. Um, well,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your social media profile. I've noticed some videos of you going out for runs. What's the deal
Yeah.
with that? Like, are you getting back into it?
What
Like,
do you mean?
what's like, are you training for something? Like it's
Life,
impressive to
brother.
see. Like
I
you're just
oh
staying
well,
fit, like longevity. Like what's the goal? Like, are you
I
doing a marathon? What's going on? Because you
no, I don't think I do a marathon. Well, Dave, I just literally signed up at the. Where are you? Are you in Ontario? Where are you?
No, I'm in the Belle Province, man. I'm in Montreal.
You're
I'm in my
in
own
Montreal.
nation. Yeah, bring your passport if you come
So yeah. So I just rejoined my local gym. I hadn't gone since the whole breakdown back in like 2017, 18 started or so. Luckily I have a body matrix, I guess that, I did get a little heavy there for a while, but I've managed to lose a lot of it. And um, I just want to like keep moving, and I'll tell you, like, people see me, like you said, I'm running and I look strong, but there is a period not long ago where I was afraid I wasn't going to be walking by the time I was 50
really?
because my frame was just I'm always in some kind of pain or discomfort, but just at the time with the way things were going, I couldn't walk on my prosthetics, and that was I was out of my prosthetics for about a year there, which is a big reason why I had such a hard uh decline. Was I wasn't in my legs and I felt like half a person, and I
Oh yeah. So
and
you were just in the
so
wheelchair the entire time, like to get to be mobile? Is that it?
20 like 20 end of 2016, 2017, 18, I was in a wheelchair. Yeah, when I
Oh
went back to
shit.
Afghanistan for the Invictus Games, I had to go in my wheelchair, which severely limited my ability to get around there,
Hmm.
and it was just weird overall. Like it was a terrible time, but I mean, back to my rant about drugs is like you got to get through it. It's part of the healing process. Like as tough as I am, and as much as I think I can take what's coming, and I'm a volunteer, so it shouldn't affect me. It's just part of the process. It's like healing a cut with a scab. It's gonna scab if you scrape. It's gonna scab no matter what. You can't avoid it, no matter how bad you hate how it hurts. My daughter hates how it stings. I said, but it's gonna scab. There's no way to stop it. And I believe that the overall healing process from traumatic injury is, there's going to be some mental injury that has to be sorted out,
Hmm.
and also, everything has its place, the drugs and stuff like that come into play, whether they're prescription or medicinal or recreational. They all have a place in your journey and your recovery and stuff like that. So
Have you
um
sorry, I'll let you finish your thought there.
no, I'm trying to think, where were we going with that?
I was going to ask you, have you tried any of the psychedelic stuff?
No, we were on to something a second ago though. Like we have to finish that. What were we talking
Oh,
about?
it's just well, you were on about getting fit and running and how hard
Oh,
it
you
was
asked
when
me
you were
about
stuck
that.
in the
So
chair, right?
so sorry, yeah. So my body just wasn't working. So yeah, so I'm happy now that to tell you that I attacked the problem. I started going to all the things that I wasn't doing, and but I had to get through the depression that I was in. I went to a mental health facility for a 60-day stint. Um, and what I've done, Dave, more than anything, brother, is I've I've given myself this. Like I should have done this when I first got blown up. I should have been sitting in the sun and hanging out and just instead, I was a meathead. I was enough, I was an infanteer. I was like, no, let's keep going. And so to be able to run now with the legs and with the dog, it's just sometimes I'm just like anybody else. I just feel like, let's move a little bit and and a part of it too is survivability. Funny enough, like I'll do things being like, okay, if I had to move or if I had to do a couple of bounds and whatever happens, that or if I had to pick someone up and carry them, could I do it at least far enough to get them out of danger? And
Yeah.
um so yeah, I just started back in the gym actually, and all the injuries are popping out and stuff. And but yeah, I didn't think I'd be mobile, man. Like I was in
Wow.
such pain. And that's another reason why I smoke weed now is I don't do any prescriptions because I was originally addicted to the Oxycontin,
Mm,
and then I have ADD and stuff. So I was trying to get stuff done, and the minge, like everything wasn't. Like, I got Ritalin from my doc at one point, and it was like I was up for 3 days after the first one of those.
Jesus.
Um, yeah,
So
yeah. So I guess
you're taking oxy and basically coke at the same time because that's
meth,
Ritalin. Yeah. Oh,
meth,
okay. Yeah.
Ritalin's meth. It's
Ritalin
way
is. I've never. I
no, it
heard it's.
is. Ritalin is just meth in pill form.
Oh, Jesus.
It's the same as the shit they would give the kamikazes. It's the same shit.
That's
It's the
wild,
same
man.
thing that Germans gave their guys. It's just refined. It's like that shit that China's sending over now, the opioid.
Not tracking. Not tracking. What they're like getting.
Fentanyl. You know
Oh,
fentanyl.
fentanyl. Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know the Chinese.
fentanyl.
I didn't know there. I thought the Mexicans were like all over that
Well,
in
they
the liquor
they the
production.
Chinese send them the precursor. Anyway, it's just artificial opium,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And the meth, so the pills for AD and ADHD is just like pharmacy grade meth.
So you're cranked, like you're fired up. You're because that I get. Like, I mean, I used to be a teacher, right? So I would get all these
Oh,
forms.
okay.
I get these forms, right? Because I taught high school boys, and I get these forms from parents. They're like, "Yeah, he's not able to concentrate in class. The doctor says he's going Ritalin." And like, what do you think? They'd ask me because I'd see him in class. I'm like, "Well, like, yeah, he just needs to study, but don't put him on these drugs, man. Like, I'll be honest. Like, if you want my opinion, I don't see any of the things that you're talking about. If you wanted to focus and stuff and get good grades in class, like, what do you want me to say? Like, some guys just don't like their class. Some guys just don't like school. Should you medicate the shit out of them? No, I really fundamentally disagreed with putting kids on that stuff because
Though
it's
they tell
strong,
you
man.
if you can't concentrate, it's a problem, and it's like, well,
It's
no,
not a
maybe you're just
problem.
boring.
Yeah, I've never, yeah, I never got behind that like as a teacher, right? Like, and if I had a problem, especially with like taught, I don't know, boys school, which is awesome because you could just like talk to them kind of like troops in your section, especially when you got a bit older, right? The 13-year-olds not so much, it makes them cry, but the older guys like, hey, what, like, why are you fucking up all the time? Like, is there something, like, should I know something? It's okay, you're a human being, I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah,
And if you need to get out, like, that's okay. Like, I'll let you go, man. You're 16 years old. Like, I'm not going to force you to be here if you're going to act like a jackass. So I like that. So and a lot of guys are like, yeah, sir, I just don't really like. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to like science, man. I don't give a shit. Like, like you're never going to use this stuff.
yeah.
I know. Like, there's like one guy in his class that's probably going to use it. So to drug them up and get them all freaking jazzed up. Anyways, you got me on a
Yeah.
tangent too about drugging up kids.
That's all right. They did
I
it.
fundamentally I don't like the concept. Like, for kids especially, like, do some PT, like, and for a lot of the boys too. And well, this is a whole other topic. Maybe we'll go down this rabbit hole. Like, man, I was noticing, and I don't know what's going to happen for the next generation, but they are so addicted to porn. It's insane, man. Like, they're not going to bed till like 4 in the morning. Imagine, like, dude, I'm sure you've had this thought, like,
Yeah.
like you're in your 40s, I'm in my 40s, like we grew up with like the scrambled era porn back in the day, like like you had to like
I
wait and like,
never watch. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a good
come
boy.
on, Jody, you know what I'm talking about. Come on,
I know
man.
what
It
you're
just
talking about.
11
Can you see
o'clock,
the
you come on.
sarcasm dripping off my
It would
fangs?
come on, you'd be like, oh my God, like you have to work for it, man. These kids, like they have like high speed, high def, every kind of like weird, disgusting fetish known to man. Like I would get questions in my grade 9 class. Like I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you guys should not be watching this shit. Like, how is it that you're going to be productive? Like I wouldn't have been productive if I had a freaking supercomputer in my hand with all the porn I ever wanted. Like they're not going to bed. So like I don't know what's going to happen. The point of me
I
saying
think,
all that is that
yeah,
like we're worried about like generational stuff and how we're going to
yeah.
fix things that are coming up. Like if you can't keep attention for more than 10 minutes because you're exhausted because you've been up all night jerking off to porn, like I don't know what's going to happen, man. I really don't know what's going to happen.
Here's I hear ya. My daughters both have iPhones, because I believe in technology and communication and not being ignorant of them.
Mm,
That said, I see very similar behavior to addicts in when it comes time to take the phones or when it comes time to put the phone down or
mm.
concentrate. And I know that through like I forget the term, but it's where your decisions reflect on, on your children and stuff. So basically if you do something, it basically, multiplies the chance that your kid will do something. And the more you do
It's called
something,
It's called
it multiplies.
imprinting. Imprinting.
No, it's
Isn't
a
it?
it's a different thing. It's like encoded into your genetics based on decisions. They say maybe I'm over
Oh, epigenetics.
simplify or something.
Yeah, it's
That's the
epigenetics.
word.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you like
So
the case in point, like I'll just
just
if you're obese when you have kids, the odds of your kids being obese are significantly higher because he turned on the
yeah,
genes for obesity for them before they were even born. Yeah,
right.
crazy.
So well, yeah, like that's the thing. Like it's so if you do drugs, they'll do drugs. If you drink, they'll drink. A part of it
Mm,
is like they see it or they hear about it, they're in the environment. But um so that said, I know I have a 50-50 chance of that one or both of my children will become addicts of some kind. So I have to be vigilant and it's my job to try to prevent that now. Now that I know that, like I didn't
mm-hmm,
know that before. I
mm-hmm.
wish I had, but that gives me solace knowing, because both, grandpa and grandpa, both veterans of different wars, etc. So there's probably I probably come by it honestly, right? So I'm what I believe is once you understand that you are an addict to something like I do now, and like addiction, it can be fleeting. It's not. It doesn't have to be chronic. It can be a momentary thing, but a substance dependence is dependence, right? Whether it's coffee, like why do you drink coffee? Because I'm fucking tired, right? Why you?
Yeah,
But you don't need the coffee, but you want it. Why do you want a cigarette, etc. It's the same impulse. Whether it's porn or like TikTok or YouTube. So I'm just trying to train them and show them the reality. Like I have a time life book on addiction, and part of it it's the phone. So I leave that open and they read about it. And I go like, you need to you need so what you learn in rehab and stuff and in recovery is you learn steps and techniques and processes and SOPs that keep you from going down that path, right? Um, and so that's how alcoholics can become social drinkers. And that's how, you might quit smoking, but you might go back on to smoking, but that's the most you do because like you need something, right? So you need to learn how to deal with these things. So what I guess what I'm saying in a long-winded way is that I'm feeling a little bit better about the fact I'm going to have to break their addiction to their phone as, tweens and teenagers so that when they do get to the age where the more exciting and fun stuff starts to happen, they'll already have that knowledge and that experience so they can apply it to their next problem because your problems in life are they just go up as you age and go up in income bracket. It's not that they really change.
yeah, right. We're always going to have problems. It's just the order of magnitude
I
gets bigger. It's
Yeah, my kids will know shit now that I took 45 years to learn, right? And so what I'm
precisely.
hoping is that
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm hoping that that'll help them just get through life easier, And I think that's we were talking about that earlier, the mentoring and the legacy and stuff and I that's sorry, I know you the porn is a problem, but it's out there, it's part of it.
yeah.
I got two daughters, man. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Oh my God, the things I don't want them to see.
Yeah. No, I like, I mean,
But
it's being able to give them the having kids as well, right? A boy and a girl. It's giving them the tools to be able to cope with what is already out there, not to
yeah,
pull everything away from them and restrict everything, because then when what happens, right? They just seek it out more, right? It's you're yeah, you're doing the right
or
thing
they're
then.
dumb when they get into situations, or they don't
Yeah, or
understand
naive.
what
Yeah,
they're
you're right.
seeing, and all of a
Yeah, you're
sudden
right.
they're sorry, yeah, they're naive, dumb. I say dumb, but it's I don't want them to be tricked because they didn't know better, because I didn't tell them something that could have helped them like see the situation for what it was,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's all. Like I want to I was thinking about this, Dave, because I try to think about the world my grandkids are gonna have, like, and stuff. So with the advent of digital technology, and how like my first daughter was on Facebook within an hour of being born or whatever, because I had the iPhone then and stuff.
Right.
And I think about that and I'm like, well, that's there's kids that have sued to get their shit taken down from their parents' Facebook because they weren't 18 and didn't give permission. And so the future is digital, right? And your info is your going to be some of your value in the world. So, um, uh-oh, I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
It's gonna be good. I
Oh,
just took a
you
nap.
when you hit the so you're we're, sorry. So now we're born more like wild animals. You know how like when a gazelle is born, it's walking in about 15 seconds, and the
Mm-hmm.
mother's like, "Come on, we got to go. You're gonna get eaten by the wolves." I feel like that's how you have to look at the world now, from the perspective as an individual within the herd. Like as soon as your kids are born now, somebody wants to know everything about them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're on TikTok. They're looking to farm these people and their information and their wants and needs and all this for the rest of their lives, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, if teach your kids that this is the way the world is, and that someone's always going to be looking to buy or sell something from you, or influence you, or give you a message, then they know how to operate within that, in that environment, I guess. And so anyway, I just think that, like that's this reality too. Like, like anything else, like getting your legs blown off, or anything else. Like it's the reality of the situation is what it is. And so rather than be upset about the world, I'm trying to just like flow with it and show my daughters like how to be good people and how to navigate and not be victims. Because that's the biggest worry as a parent, is that your kids end up victims of something that you could have prevented.
All right.
And I don't mean it has to be awful, like they're kidnapped or any of that stuff. I'm just saying, like, just tricked on the street, and someone like I didn't know any better as a kid once. I was at the mall and I wanted to break a 50, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I was shy, and a buddy of a buddy said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he just left with my money. And I felt like stupid, right? And I was like, I didn't even know people did that shit,
He's like,
right?
why would you do?
And I don't even
Yeah.
remember why I was so shy. Oh, because they wouldn't change it at the where I was. Anyway, whatever. I
Right.
was like 14 or something.
Right.
Uh, and it just never occurred to me that my dad is like, "What do you like? What?" And I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't." But that whether advice could have prevented that or not, like one of the things I say to my kids is like, like you have a phone, like just hang on to it. People like to grab that stuff, and it's just
Yeah.
and I go, yeah, it's just something to look out for. And it doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but it happens all the time. And if you're not ready for it, or you don't even realize it's a thing, all it takes is you put it in your pocket, and now it's no longer a problem.
Yeah. Well, it's like kind of like that analogy, right? That, there's the sheep, the wolves, and the sheepdogs in life, right? If you want to like
There
break it
you
down to
go.
the, like we would call ourselves the sheepdogs, it's like if you want to break it down for a kid, like, or even for an adult, like, to naively think that there's no wolves out there is dangerous. There are wolves out there. There's lots of wolves out there.
Yeah.
Odds are you're going to encounter one or two in your life. And if you're not ready, like if you're not mentally prepared, or have any kind of sense that there's bad people, that's going to be crazy traumatic for you. Because you're going to be like, but why did they do
Yeah.
this? It's because
I
some
believe
people,
so.
yeah, some people are just awful. Like, and that's just how humanity is. Now, if you're aware of that, and if you're like hardened to it, doesn't mean you have to be an asshole to everybody. Like, I think, I genuinely think everybody, like 99.9%, we're all basically the same. We all want the same things. We just want to be good. We want to be able to go home. We want to have like a nice family and just have people that love us and just be good. But how do we go about it is going to differ. But ultimately, we're not out to kind of screw our fellow man. But there are people that that's all they want to do, and that sucks. But if we didn't have that, then we wouldn't have like your experience. Like you learned from that experience. It sucked, but now
Yeah.
it's something you pass on.
Yeah, but like imagine, yeah, but I still can't help but imagine being like that guy that you got to walk out with like someone's $50,
Well, yeah, yeah,
you know?
because but we can't because we're not that guy.
Yeah.
So you'd have to,
Well, he's probably an addict or something like,
or a
or I
politician.
mean,
Maybe he's doing really well for himself.
maybe it
Maybe
was
he's
his
crushing
first
it.
political move. Maybe he
He's-
owed my buddy some money, so he took mine.
yeah,
He probably split it with my buddy.
maybe it was like a Breaking Bad type thing. Maybe he had to support his family. He's like, look, man, I got to get mine. Like, I'm not doing well. We don't know his story, man. We don't know his story. But hey, we're
I'm
talking about
just
phones.
saying.
So
Yeah.
this week I implemented a new protocol because I was listening to this dude on business efficiency, and so I'm just fascinated about like business efficiency and stuff like that. So um he's like, man, he's like the individual, like moving forward, like we're talking about like next generation, the individual who is able to focus is going to be king moving forward because our attention is constantly
Yeah.
grabbed by a million different things. And that, like, before, focus was not everybody could do it, but it was a lot easier. Like you maybe had the radio, maybe had TV, but now it's like bing, 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 like everything is just
Yeah.
grabbing you for
You
a
got to learn how to
microsecond.
operate.
Yeah. So being able to just like zoom everything in and just focus for the day,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to
Yeah.
get so much more done than the other guy that's not. And so I just applied his protocol, which is basically like, don't take any appointments till noon, like we're doing here. Get up really
Mm.
early and just get a day's work in before anybody's even up, and turn off every notification on your phone. Like when the only person that can text me is my wife, and my mom can call me too if there's an emergency, so they can get through. But
Yeah.
everybody else is shut down. And then afterwards, yeah, I can make phone calls and stuff like that. But I just get to work, and I'm telling you, it's been 3 days, and I feel like I'm actually focused on something. I feel like I've actually got clarity. Like I'm able to speak to you at better cadence because it's like my mind is able to put things together in a quicker manner, which is freaking
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Well, it's
It's
a
insane.
structure, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
way I guess I always, like, I used to be, but it just seemed like it's been like only a few years that I've really actually had an iPhone. Before I was kind of a Luddite. I was like, nah, I don't need these things. Like,
Yeah.
what do I need these for? Like I didn't have access to the
Because
internet
they're
on my
awesome.
phone. They're like, I remember the only
Yeah.
reason why I got a new phone was because I started working for this tech company, and they gave me an iPhone. I never had one. I was like, oh, cool. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's your company phone. It was pink too. He's like, sorry, bro, I don't have anything in any manly color. I'm
You're
like,
man enough to have
I'm
a
man,
pink
I'm man enough.
phone.
I'm like, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. So I'd be like checking in on the metro, on the bus, and I was like, holy shit, like I've got all my news, man. I've got Facebook. I was like, man, I can see why people are freaking
What
addicted.
iPhone was it?
6, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe I think it
I
was 6.
bought one of the first iPhones when they first came out. And I actually, it's funny. I remember I was sitting on the couch, like reading, because then back then it was like a minute per page. Like it was off anyway.
Yeah.
And everyone thought I was like messaging, but I was just sitting there reading because no,
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? You don't read on your phone. But I was reading like news articles and stuff.
Yeah,
And
it opens up.
I
But
this one thing I started doing is like you're talking about is I started harnessing the things that the phone is really good at. So it does your scheduling awesome,
yeah.
right? It takes enough pictures to keep you current. It's got all the setting, it's got all the tools for recording, it's got for timekeeping, for note taking. Like, I used to get worried, oh, I don't have a pen, I don't have a notebook. I'm like, well, I have my iPhone. Like the iPhone even has a notebook app just for that. And I got
Yeah.
notes going all the way back to 2007.
I
Like
just found out
nowhere
that you
else
can
is it
actually
a
run out.
correlation of
I got to my maximum number of
funny
notes.
enough.
I start deleting stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, well, didn't you just buy more data or
No, no, no,
or
no. I just ran out. No, it doesn't. It takes like a
memory?
kilobyte. No, no, no. There's like a maximum number of notes. I didn't know that. Yeah.
So you're not on the cloud.
Yeah. Of course, I'm on the cloud. Yeah.
Then I don't think your notes are
Well, I
there
could. I
because I've
literally could
never
not make another note. I was like, create new note, and it was like, no, you're not allowed. I was like, then I
wow,
deleted a bunch, and like, you can
impressive.
make new notes. So I reached a threshold. I broke it.
Yeah. it is a little frustrating though, actually, like when you think about, like, since these things came out, there's Dropbox and this and that. There's you got data scattered all over the place. So that is a bit frustrating, I find it, because some things when you sign up, they're free, and then like 2 or 3 years later, suddenly you need a subscription, and you're like, well, fuck those guys, and then you kind of lose stuff. So it is a frustration,
Yeah.
but I find like I have an iPhone Pro, and it does everything that I want to do for now well enough that it's basically the one piece of kit that I think does almost everything. And it's got GPS. It's a great thing. And like you said, when you harness what it's for, and you apply it to how you need to operate, I just find it's worth its drawbacks, right? Because that's the thing. Like we were talking about with the addiction and the porn, like it's all in the same spot as all the other useful stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
complicated
So
tool.
you got to learn how to use it. You just got to learn how to operate with it and stay functional and stay productive and stay on your own path.
Yeah.
Because we know what they're doing. We know what it's whoever they
It's
are, right?
they
And
say
it's
again. Yeah.
you. We know what we're doing to our customers or to our like we want them to come in. We want our messaging is like, yeah, come hang out with us. We're the good guys.
Hmm.
We're fun, or we're this, or we're gonna give you what you need, or Dave's gonna get you in shape. Like, but so you when you understand the game though, like you're able to play it as an instinct. You play baseball as a player, right? Not just as a spectator.
Right.
That's the way I see it. Like you kind of got to outsmart your smartphone in
Well,
some
so
ways.
further to that, I got rid of all my social media. I deleted Facebook, I deleted Instagram, I deleted
When
YouTube on Monday. I am
Oh,
a
so this
focus.
is like you just started
No,
all
dude, I
this.
just started. I'm a focus machine now.
Okay, how far? How? Well, hang on. How far in are you?
3 days. Monday. Like I'm like it's what,
Oh,
Wednesday? No, yeah,
oh,
it's
okay.
Thursday. Yeah. So 4 days almost. It is
So
it
when you
is
say it's
like
been 3 days, it's not just the last 3 days. It's been 3 days.
no, it's just been yeah, it's just been that's it. I've just gone I go cold turkey on things.
Okay,
It
yeah.
is
It
it's
sounds a little bit
liberating.
like the five
Liberating.
hour work week guys ideas too, though.
Yeah, that's exactly
Remember,
that's
have you ever read Dave Asprey? I think his
no.
name is 5 hour work week
Well, I've read the 4 hour work week. That
or
was
4 hour work
that
week.
yeah, that
That
that's
one.
what's his name?
That's it.
Tim Ferriss.
Uh,
Yeah.
Tim, yeah, not Dave. Dave
I don't know who
Asprey,
Dave Asprey
bulletproof
is,
guy.
but Tim Ferriss, yeah, the
He
4 hour work week.
he made bulletproof coffee like popular, the butter coffee.
Oh, wait,
He's
Dave
he got
Asprey,
that trend
isn't he
going.
the surfer? I thought it was Laird Hamilton that did that. He was on Joe Rogan. He was
Maybe
talking
Laird
about
maybe Laird Hamilton showed this guy, but this guy brought it onto
yeah,
Rogan way back in the day. And
that's
he called
a
it bulletproof coffee, and everybody else now just calls it butter coffee.
okay, yeah, butter and I put cream and turmeric and cinnamon and a bit of salt, and I'm like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
bulletproof. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it's. But anyway, I remember when I read that book, like a lot of his advice is you detach, and I think though part of the what he like, but you can't detach forever, right? But it's like you're trying to make foundational change in your life, and you're trying to refocus. So like all like starting a new program or going basic training, right? You got to go hard for a while, six
yeah,
months or a year, and then the rest of your life will benefit from those disciplines that you focused on for that time frame.
yeah.
So how long are you committed for there, young sir?
Well, I've committed to a year to fundamentally change. Like, it, I basically
So is this a program?
kind of. So I have a team of coaches that I've hired to just like look under the hood of my business and like bring me to the next level because I'm kind of stuck. I've only done this for like 3 4 years, so kind of like I'm in the apprenticeship phase. I've gotten a certain level of success. I'm like, what's the next step? And they're like, all right, so it's really all mindset stuff and focusing and stuff like that. They're like, okay, well, try something that works, and then you got to come up with your own protocol. So my goal is a year of just this devoted focus. But I mean, I have to use social media. My business is on social media. It's just that I have to use it on my desktop. That's it. That's the only difference is that I just have to plan ahead. I'm like, oh, I have to schedule my post, and then I don't need to think about it. Like the computer takes the rest. and the scheduler takes the rest. I'm like, oh, this is actually quite liberating. Like
There you go.
I'm not always like, oh, did they comment on that? Oh, no, it's like it's done. It's work for me. So now it's done. And like just like work before, like I didn't want to have to bring work home. It kind of sucks when you have to bring work home all the time. I'm just constantly doing that. And now
Yeah.
I'm not really doing that. Like by the time 5 o'clock comes, like I've worked like 10 hours already. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to like stomp on the gas more. I've got a family, I got a wife that likes to see me from time to time, like we can hang out. So
Well,
no, it's
yeah,
been really
like you
good.
got to pace yourself. Like you got to pace yourself, right? Like, so it's good. Like you're learning ways to like go faster when you want to go faster, and how to chill when you want to chill. Because one of the biggest things, and how old are you? You're 40.
40 on the nose. I'm about to be 41. Yeah.
Yeah, so and I'm gonna tell you, man, honestly, it's a bit of an outlook change, like you kind of just you want you're I for me, I found I was always seeking like the next optimum moment, and to always be operating at the fine edge, and now I'm like I'm cool with being like just at half throttle as often as I can. But like I was saying, even with the running and the working out, it's for the moments when I need it, that I
Mm.
save my energy for and stuff. And I was thinking about this too the other day because someone mentioned life work balance to me, and I think it's the same. I think it's kind of what we're talking about. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just looking for balance. Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of work happens when you're, you know, vacationing and this or that or whatever. But I just think like it's part of existing, so to speak, is that like you got to find your vibe, and you got to find how to operate efficiently for a long time now that you're approaching middle age.
Yeah.
And I wish I'd considered these things more at 20 and 30. Even after I got blown up, I didn't consider them, like we talked about. I just kept going hard, the training and the, this and that, doing the next thing.
Hmm.
And I should have been giving my body a break. My body just was like, fucking just relax, dude. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like great. You can lift weights and you can run, but like but your mind is saying, no, no, like there's more to discover. There's more to look for, there's more to accomplish, and again, I look back and I don't know. I'm no different than any other dad, I think, in history, but I realized I spent too much time when my kids were younger gone. But I'm in a job where traditionally I might not have even met them till they were 1 or 2 years old anyway.
Yep.
So I just I just all that to say, like I just think that if you find something that works for you, like you should pursue it, right? And it's important to realize that no matter how old you get, you can still learn things as well. So
Absolutely.
I'm looking
Absolutely.
forward to seeing your results
Dude, it's gonna be great, man. It's already starting to bear
because
fruit.
it's oh well, can I, what is it? Can you send it my way?
The fruit bearing.
No, the
Um,
program that
oh, the
that
program.
you're running,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
like the
Take out your notes.
disciplines
Take
that
out
I
your
need
take
to
out your take
implement.
out your notes right now, man. I'll give you the Dave Moore protocol right now. I'll say it. So okay, the first thing is early wake up. So it's 0500. Here's the caveat: you got to do it on Saturdays and Sundays, not just Monday to Friday.
Mm,
So it's like you get to work every day. And then
nice.
till noon. Now I have to be flexible here. Like I can't stay till noon, like when the kids are up on Saturdays and Sundays. Like don't talk to dad. So it's until they get up on Saturdays and Sundays.
Right,
And then
right.
we do our family stuff. Like I'm not super
It's
strict
scheduled.
because you have to be flexible, man. When you're husband and a freaking daddy, you'd be crazy not to. So there's that, and then there's delete all your social media apps on your phone, turn all your
Okay.
notifications to zero until so I get a so it's cool. Like they have all the tools on your phone already. You don't need to download any more apps. Like I get a summary at 4:30 of all the communications that I've got, which is really cool. It's like you're like
Zero
commanding off
four
at 4:30 at 16:30. So it's like
sixteen
you're a
thirty.
commanding officer and they give you like your sit rep for the day. It's like, oh, okay. Oh,
Hell
I can
yeah.
handle it. And then it's the ability to say no. So like what are you really focused on? So for me, it's business growth. So I had to make the decision. I'm a yes guy. I'm a people pleaser. I realize that. So when somebody has a good new idea, like, hey Dave, like it's an ask, but it's actually a take. It's like, hey, can I pick your brain for a little bit? I got this idea. I've always said yes, 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 yes. But now the hard part for me is saying no. Like I just got asked yesterday, hey, we'd love to get you on the news again about the Afghan thing. And I said no. I was like, no, I'm okay, thanks. Normally I would have jumped on that because I'm like, yeah, I really want to get my point across. What's my main focus? My main focus is business growth. And then on top of that, I talked to my coach about training. I was doing 4 days a week in the gym. And I'm like, yeah, we're bringing that down to two. I think I can maintain and still actually get stronger in 2 days. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, because if not, like, what is my goal? Like, you only have so much growth juju. So, am I trying to grow physically? Cool, but that takes a lot of effort. But I'm also trying to grow on the business side. That takes a lot of effort as well. And personally, am I trying to grow as well? Like all three, you just wouldn't grow, period, on any of the fronts. So I want to grow on the business side. So that's where my effort is. So that's my process. So you just have to figure out what that is. And if, it's getting fitter and stronger, then it's like, okay, then that's my priority. And the other word that I learned was there's no such thing as priorities. That makes no sense. It's an oxymoron. What's your priority? And then work on it. And it might sound like kind of dickish in the sense that like, well, isn't your priority your family? Well, yeah, my family is very important. Like, don't get me wrong. Everybody in my family is important, but my priority to, grow in the next year is business. And it doesn't mean I neglect my family. It doesn't mean I neglect myself. It just
Yeah, but
means I
your
need to,
family also benefits from the growth, right? It's a give and take.
and therein lies the beauty of it, right? Like the
Yeah,
more you grow, the more branches you can have later on,
yeah.
just like a tree, right? And you can support more ecosystems if you want to call it that. So anyways, that's it. You can take that and run with it, man. um
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah, I'll have to write. It's borrowed from two different people. So it's borrowed from
Yeah.
Alex Hermosi, who I've been obsessed with because he's a business dude, but he's just very straightforward. And he's like, no, he's like, stop doing dumb shit. He's like, do the shit that actually works. It's boring, but you got to do it. And then one of my coaches, he's a veteran actually. He's a Navy veteran from the States, like Bledsoe. So they've been really good. And you just need to hear these things, right? And that's kind of why I do podcasting with smart people, right? Like yourself, like your insights for somebody can be like game changing, right? And
Mm.
the more you get your information out there, the better the world gets. So, Jody, I've actually got another podcast coming up, man. So I'm going to have to let you go.
Cool, man.
But this was
Yeah, I understand.
this was a killer. This is a killer chat. We really meandered all over the
Awesome.
place, which was wicked. Got to know you a little bit better, and I think the
Yeah, I
listeners.
hope your listeners get something out of this. I got to be honest. I think we had a lot of great half talks about stuff. If we were just like, it's like yesterday, I knew this was going to happen though, because when I called you yesterday and you and I right off the jump for the listeners and the viewers, the second this guy answered the phone, because we never talked on the phone
No,
before,
just
have
by
we?
text, just by
Yesterday?
text. Yeah.
Yeah. So first time I'm like, yeah, let's have a call. So we call it right away. We're talking about aliens and like ancient techno
Ancient civilization.
electronics. It
Dude,
was awesome.
look,
And we
that's
didn't
the
even
book.
get to that
That's the
shit
book I
today.
brought out. I was like, maybe I'll get to it. Like,
Was
it's
the little what?
the little book of conspiracy.
So, that's awesome.
I was like, maybe we'll get to it. Yeah,
Oh,
because
actually, if you want to drop a little book, no, I know you got to go, right? How much time we got? Are
no,
we
no, I'm good.
over or under
I've
right
got
now?
20. No, I got 20 minutes. I got 20 minutes. Yeah, no, I'm good.
So if you're a keener for like history and like why things happen, and you want to understand politics more, there's a book came out called The Cause. It's about the revolution, which wasn't just the American Revolution; it
Which,
was a world revolution at the time.
like,
It's
we're talking
called The Cause.
like the 1700s, kind of like, or
The
late, like
Amer
what era?
it's so no it, so it's about it's an informational book about like why the revolution actually happened, right? Like because it wasn't just a revolt against taxes, right? They called like even then they called it the cause, right? It was later rebranded like as history is, right? But what I'm saying is like if you want to understand politics and why our world is the way it is, like our part of the world, and then the ripples, like this book's pretty great at showing all the sides of the story and why decisions were made and things went certain ways. And it's quite eye opening.
Mm,
Is all I want to say. I just wanted to put that out there for the people who like to read interesting things.
yeah, I'd love to see your library and your reading list because we clearly have
Mhm. I'll,
uh, similar
I'll,
interests on a lot of different fronts. So the cause, duly
yeah, bro.
noted. And I on our chat yesterday, I mentioned the fourth turning. I haven't read it yet, but that's definitely, if you're into history and like we're talking about, like politics and like you're just talking about the revolution in 1776, like where this was something that was bothering me. Like the whole COVID era, like really got on my nerves, man. Like I was like distressed. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's like everything's gone bananas. This is normal. And when I learned that, I was like, oh, like it's a different context, different technology, different ish type like scenario. But ultimately, this I don't. Did you ever watch Battlestar Galactica, like the modern iteration?
No, but I mean, I know enough about the story, right? Like it's about,
So
but
it's using this the like it's using this very uh, Indian influence, like the idea of like eras like flowing through like four
yeah,
different turnings.
yeah,
And they always said like this has happened and this has already happened and this will happen again. And it's the war between the humans and the Cylons that are like they're just basically like sentient AI. And
yeah,
they go through and it was fascinating because they're like, well, this has already happened. And then like they repopulated Earth with like humans, but there was like they were futuristic, and it was fascinating to wrap your head around. And I'm like, oh, like this is kind of like what we're seeing. Like these things happen in
that's it.
cycles. If you think
Yeah,
linearly, you're like, oh, we're screwing everything up. But if you think cyclically, and that we're as a species, a biological entity, just going through cycles of life, I don't know. It makes me
yeah,
feel more comfortable that, oh, like it's not any one person's like individual fuck up that's causing all this. It has to do with physics and
yeah,
entropy and just like
yeah. But
ebbs and flows.
that's
And
the thing. Like when you know that stuff, and like way back at the beginning of our chat, we were trying to talk about the leadership and this and that. Like when you know the cycles, like that's how you can look at our situation now and know like they often result in negative outcomes for a little while, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then we got
yeah,
to rally and we got to figure it out,
yeah. And
but
it's
it's part of
yeah.
the cycle. Neo, it's like Neo in the Matrix. No matter how hard they crunched their computers, they couldn't get rid of them. And then they realized they fucking needed them to do a brush fire every now and then, to
Right.
clear out the
Yeah.
old programs. That's what
Yeah.
you got to look like. Some of this stuff it's brush fires, or it's you're getting rid of old programming.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, sometimes it happens, in your lifetime,
Yeah. And
but we have
I
yet to
mean,
see what it's going to look like.
no, exactly. I got this quote from, and I can't remember the guest on Rogan, said we have caveman brains, but we have medieval institutions, and we have godlike tech. And he's like, you're inevitably going to come up with some really serious issues because it's true. Like we have these freaking smartphones that we're talking about. It's a supercomputer and we don't know what to do with it. We're freaking gorillas with these crazy machines in our pockets. Our brains aren't really that much more evolved than they were like a million years ago.
Yeah, but they're no more devolved either. Like,
Right.
some people think a skateboard is fast and some guys can drive an Indy car, right? Like we're all in that same category of human, right? You know what I mean? Like I think we're doing exactly what we're meant to do, man. I think humanity is on a course, we're just like entities on the planet. We're like reaching out to the moon now, with all the space junk. We got like this artificial presence in
Dude,
you know in the in the sky.
have you seen the James Webb telescope? Have you seen that thing? Like what the images it's producing?
Is that the new one?
Yeah, the brand, like the one that like replaced the Hubble.
I saw the
Wow,
salami the guy said was from it.
the salami.
So
What?
one of the guy scientists thought it'd be funny to take a picture of his salami, like right up close, and he said, "Oh, this is from the," but like, right? There's anyway, and so people were falling for it, and they had to be like, "No, no, it was a joke. It's just a picture of a salami up close."
Oh man, you gotta love practical
That's
jokes,
all
man.
I've heard
Everybody's so
about that
serious.
telescope, except it's at five. Isn't it at a 5K picture or something? It's
Yeah, yeah,
taking
it's
pictures at,
insane.
or
It's insane. Like we got
yeah,
so much more resolution from Hubble, and
yeah,
this is well, it was like
yeah,
$5 billion or something like that to build it. It's insane how we're able to do it.
worth it.
My theory on all this about what our role is I think it's to expand. I think the role of the universe is to expand consciousness. As weird as that might sound, I think that's the point. But what do I know? That's
Mm.
just I've just heard that from smart people. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's not like I came up with it, but I think that's
Well,
it.
it has to be for something, and I gotta wonder, like, the consciousness that you do have, is it all yours? You know, like whatever we try to say about the individual and my efforts and your efforts and we're all part of this, like, like we're running on instinct as much as anything else. Just like
Uh,
the beavers and the birds in the sky, like something's pushing us forward.
Something's moving us, man.
Yeah.
I think that's where mushrooms come into play, man. I haven't tried them yet.
Oh,
I
you did ask about that earlier,
Yeah, I
and
asked about that
I
earlier.
haven't, but I've done a ton of shrooms in my life, just nothing
Well,
like
that's what I'm talking about.
clinical.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I haven't even had the
Yeah, but we
experience.
can
Like,
talk about that later. You said you
yeah,
had to go.
that'll be another one. That'll be another one. Well,
Yeah,
I'll have to do some shrooms and then actually have an experience to talk about. I think I got some at home. I'll have to check.
it's worth it. It's worth it.
See,
Book a day and book like a night and a day, and you'll be good,
yeah, I have to make sure the kids aren't around. That's all. All right, cool, Jody. Thanks so much, man. This has been freaking cool.
brother.
Covered a lot of ground.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I hope
This.
your listeners actually get something out of this,
Oh, for sure, man.
I feel like I feel like we had a great time. I had a great time, Dave.
I
This
had
is
a
a great chat.
blast.
I have had the time of my life. I just don't know if anybody listening will get anything out of the ramblings. But no, it's an honor and a privilege. And I want to tell you, Dave, that I appreciate what you said. And it's hard not to feel proud that if I thought it was a good idea, others do too, and that you and Chance and you know sorry, a lot of people are doing what you guys are doing, and it makes me feel good to know that the message is positive and the message is about the community. And regardless of how we feel about each other, anything like that, we got to stick together. And we got to remember that it is, at the end of the day, only we are going to look after ourselves, and it takes us to look after us. And we have to, unite a message. We have to find a way to have we have a whole ministry of the government, set aside for us, for our
Hmm.
care.
Hmm.
And we have almost no influence on it, in
Hmm.
my opinion. And so, to change that, and the system that we have takes commitment, and it takes work. It takes a long time to get legislation written and to convince people. And I would rather, make bonds and make, friends and stuff than make enemies, right? And so I don't want to fight the government and stuff like that. And I don't think we should have to fight, but I think we have to realize that we have to start standing up for ourselves.
Amen.
And I just wanted to get that out there and let you know how it makes me feel. That on a personal level, it makes getting blown up, and it makes all the bullshit that I go through and have been through. And I'm not complaining. This is my job. This is my life. But it's part of the gig for all of us. And when we start to realize that more, we'll have success, and it will just all be better off. The better you do, the better I do. That's how I see it.
Right on. I totally agree. Hey,
All right, my
also
man.
we sign off, how do people get your book, man?
Always and also.
Yeah, where do we get
Oh,
your
I
book?
appreciate that. So the easiest way is to buy it off Amazon. I think there's usually they got them there for between 10 and $20 usually. If you're Canadian, and your local bookstore can get it for you, they may have one or two copies around. And you know, uh, I don't worry, I get a cut. I'm not part of the sales. That's part of the Simon and Schuster's part of the gig. Um, and the book has been a success. And it was well received. And I got to tell you, to know. Sorry, I've realized what a privilege and an honor it was to have a book written. But I believe everyone has a book in them.
Mm,
So
I agree.
it's a great way to focus your thoughts. But yeah, so Amazon or your local chapters should have the book Unflinching: The Making of a Canadian Sniper,
Yeah.
and also Everyday Heroes by both by Simon and Schuster.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, because I don't have that one. Right on. Yeah, you're a prolific writer, man. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm looking
Well,
at it.
I didn't write that one. I just helped collate the stories
All the
and make
stories. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of structure them in a kind of a linear storyline, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah, right on.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. The more you can get out there and provide more content, especially in the form of books, like the more lives you're going to influence, like myself and generations to come, man.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
keep it up, man.
and since we're on the topic, though, I am doing keynote presentations again and stuff,
Oh,
and
sweet.
I'm usually booked through the National Speakers Bureau. If anybody's listening, I might be available for birthday parties and corporate events.
Bar
And part of that
mitzvahs,
is
sweet 16.
anything, as long as you're good people. I just it's part of the it's part of the selling the story and making sure that people hear it. It's
Mhm.
and it feels good too because I didn't know if I'd ever get back to this point, but part of the journey is to show it's possible. You just got to commit.
Right on. I love it, man. I think that's a good point to leave on. Thanks again, man. This is a great
Well,
chat. Open invite, by the way. Anytime you want to come on, just let me know.
all right, well, my phone's always on.
We'll
What's
just
at
have
you, brother?
we'll just have random chats, just recording. That's it. That'll be the
I
episodes from
uh,
now on. All
I'm
right,
cool.
brother. Have a
I'm
good
cool
rest of
with
the
it.
day, man.
All right, buddy.